All right, here we go, everybody. Opendoor Technology and Opendoor did really good today. If you're following it and you had shares or you had an option call, you made a lot of money today. It was jumping pretty much right from the beginning of the day. It did really good today. Very unexpected at first. I didn't think it was going to go up so much so quickly and then hold. And it did really good. So today we're going to look at the chart and then I'm going to show you a few articles, a lot of due diligence, and it's very important. So stick around because this is very important information and part of the reason why Opendoor went up today. So go ahead and like this video and comment. If you have any questions, subscribe. And remember, when you like this video, you're helping this channel out. You're helping this channel grow and create more of a buzz for Opendoor Technology, pretty much. All right, here's the chart. All right, here we go. Here's the weekly chart, and that red weekly candle is gone. And now we have a green doji candle. That's a lot of buying because we turned green from red on the weekly. All right, let's look at the daily chart. And the daily chart, remember I said those 3 consolidation days? I said, this is actually good. I said that in the last video. I said, we have 3 red candles, but we don't really have a downtrend. So that means pretty much we consolidated for 3 days straight so we can have this good day today. We broke $10.87 today. That was higher than the last time. Last time we went up $10.70 on this candle. Today, $10.87. We did go down. A lot of fluctuation, price fluctuation because the rate cut and Jerome Powell. And a lot of people are taking profit. It went up a lot today, so that's what's going to happen. People taking profit and also people getting in. So it fluctuated a lot. But if you were watching Opendoor today, you can see that Opendoor Technology has a lot of potential. It can go up really quick right before you know it. A strong stock, and the company's getting better and better in my opinion. And here's the hourly. We consolidated pretty much pre-market. We consolidated pretty much after hours and pre-market. And yesterday was pretty much a consolidation day. We went down and we just consolidated all day. After hours and pre-market went down to 841. That was just some manipulation, I'm thinking, because it went from 841, came right back up to this consolidation area, and then as soon as the market opened, it took off. It took off running, and once it went up, it consolidated a little bit. After it went up a lot, but that was a huge jump from $8.75 all the way to $10.57, and then consolidated and tried to go up to $10.87, but you know, people took profit. This is how it is. When the stock is up so much percentage-wise, 10, 15%, people are going to start to take profit. They see a lot of green on their screen, and they say, oh, I'm going to take some profit now. It may take a percentage of it. They may take 0.5% profit, but people aren't forgetting about this stock. They may take profit, but they're getting right back in because there is a huge future for Opendoor as long as we keep heading the right direction. And here we are. The 5-minute went straight up, and then consolidated. And then this huge drop right here, it looked like 2 o'clock. That was the rate cut decision. So people took profit from this jump from $8.77 all the way until $10.80. And when that rate cut decision came out, they decided to take profit. So it went from $10.87 all the way down to $9.15 because people take profit on a rate cut decision. You know, some people will do sell the news or buy the rumor, sell the news, and that's what happened. The news came out and they sold. And at 2:30, this is when Jerome Powell was talking. Once the rate cut decision came out, it dumped, and then it came up a little bit, and then Jerome Powell started talking. It came back down again, and then it came right back up again and broke the $10 and closed above $10. So that's very strong, a very strong stock. Let's look at the support and resistance. The support here at $9. It took off from $9 when it opened up. This is a $9 area right here. And then it hovered right around the resistance that we have at $10.25. I haven't changed these lines at all. These are the same lines I drew on last week. And I have the $9 at the $9.50 at the $10.25. And it took off from $9. It broke that $9.50 resistance. And once that happened, it just exploded and went straight up to the $10.25 resistance that I have on here. It broke $10.25, but it came back down again. Then it kind of hovered around $10.25 and consolidated for a while. And then it tried to break $10.25 again, and it did. It went to $10.87. But the rate decision came out, and then people sold off. Came back down to the support 950 again. So these are some good support and resistance lines pretty much because it's following these lines really well. Took off at $9, broke the resistance at 950, hit the next resistance at 1025, went back down to the 950 support, and now we're back at the 1025 resistance again. So after hours, we are going down a little bit lower. We're at 1009. Hopefully we can open up above $10. That'd be great. But remember, just a few days ago, we were hoping that we hold the $9 support, and now we're at the $10 support, hoping we hold $10. So that's evidence that we are moving up slowly but surely. The housing stocks, Lennar and Horton, it had a huge pump, but it didn't hold. Once that rate decision came out and Powell started talking, all the housing stocks dumped. But Opendoor, it did a little bit, right here, but it came back up again. So Opendoor actually outperformed the housing sector today. It outperformed Lennar, Horton, and the housing ETF. So, they're not the same type of company. One is building houses, the other one has a platform for selling and buying houses, but they all deal with houses in such a way. So I'm going to look at the support and resistance for Opendoor, and then I'm going to go to the articles because the articles are pretty important. I want to go over it with you, and I'm going to show you why we went up today. Several reasons why we went up today. So for tomorrow, if we do continue to go down, we're looking at a support between 950 and 975 support. If things get ugly, the $9 support is where we should hold. I'm going to erase this 824 because I really don't see it going to 824. If it does go to 8s, it probably maybe 875, but that's the only thing I would see. 875, 825, I really don't see that anymore. Based on the news we received today, there's 875 right there. 875 would be the furthest out support. Then we have the $9 support, then the 950 support. Resistance, we're looking at the 1025 still. 1025 resistance is still in effect. And then we have the 1060 resistance. So those are the support and resistance lines that we have for Opendoor. Now let's look at a few reasons why Opendoor went up today. Early on, before the stock market even opened up, there's two reports that came out. A lot of people didn't talk about it, but two reports came out, and I went over them in the Discord. That's why I said join the Discord. It's in my bio, my profile. The link is there. And I'll try to put the Discord link in the description so you can get to it easier. But the 830 report, housing starts and housing permits, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that great. The housing starts and building permits wasn't that great. It's pretty much showing that houses aren't really being built at a fast pace. It's kind of slowing down, actually. But the big one that came out at 7 a.m., all three of those were good. All four of them, these were good. The MBA 30-year mortgage rate, 6.39. It was 6.49. And then you have the MBA mortgage applications, previous 9.2. But the actual was 29.7. That's a huge jump in the mortgage applications. It says the volume of mortgage applications in the U.S. surged by 29.7% from the previous week in the period ending September 12th. The sharpest growth rate since January and the second highest since interest rate crashed in March 2020. So that's huge news. More people are looking toward buying a house. Mortgage applications surged by a lot. And here's some more news for Opendoor. Opendoor announces Inducement Grants for newly appointed CEO under the NASDAQ listing. Now, there's a lot of information to read. I read all of it already, but I'm not going to read all this to you. If you want to find it, you can go to Global Newswire or just Google Opendoor announces Inducement Grants and you can read it for yourself. It just outlines what the CEO needs to do to get his awards. And based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of incentive for the Opendoor CEO to succeed. So when Opendoor acquired the new CEO, they granted him a restricted stock unit award relating to 1.5 million shares of company common stock. The first award will be eligible to vest in installments over a period of 5 years from the date of the grant, with 20% of the award vesting on the first anniversary of the grant date and the remainder of the award vesting in quarterly installments thereafter, subject to the CEO's continued employment through each applicable vesting date and the achievement of an average closing stock price equals or exceeds $6.24. So pretty much Opendoor stock is not going to go below $6.24. It needs to keep it at $6.24 or higher to get, qualify for this first award. And here's another one. The second PSU award has a 5-year performance period. So yeah, he needs to definitely stick around for at least 5 years to get all these awards. And it is divided into 7 equal tranches, with each tranche subject to a performance-based vesting condition that requires achievement of an average price hurdle equal to $9, $13, $17, $21, $25, $29, and $33 over a 60 trading day period that begins no earlier than the first anniversary of the grant date. So yeah, if you didn't understand anything I said, pretty much he has 2 awards coming to him, and it's all based on the price of share of Opendoor. The higher the share price for Opendoor and the continued share price of the stock, he's going to get, more money, more awards, more shares granted to him. So he has a lot of incentive to do well. Is it guaranteed to go $25, $29, $33? No, none of these prices are actually guaranteed. They're just an incentive for him to do well. And the last one, key points for today that help Opendoor go up. The first one, a regulatory filing confirmed Opendoor plans to offer its services to the entire United States market. That was huge. That was a big news that, Opendoor will be in the entire United States market. That is really, really big news. The second one, in addition, the Federal Reserve announced that it will cut the federal funds to, 0.25%. We already knew that's going to happen, probably weeks and months in advance. We already knew that. But that first one, offer a service in the entire United States market, yeah, I like that a lot. It says Opendoor is expanding its reach. The company filed an 8K disclosure with the SEC, revealing that it intends to expand its product offerings to allow Opendoor to provide services through the entire continental United States in the coming weeks through one or more of its direct cash offer, Cash Plus, or working with its partners agents to provide listing services. The revelation that the company is officially expanding to the entire United States market is fueling investor enthusiasm. That's going to be a big deal for Opendoor. It says it's going to happen within the coming weeks. It says Opendoor still has to prove its business model can work. It's a disruptor company, but it's unproven. So to me, they will have a chance to prove that their business model works while the housing market starts to get back on its feet again. And we'll know soon. Once you start seeing some numbers and once we see their earnings, we'll know if the business model is working for Opendoor Technology. And if it works, I think this stock can go just as I just read. For the Max Award for this new CEO, $33. But if it does what it's supposed to do, they can go higher than that. $50, $75, $100. The sky's the limit when you have a disruptor company. Sky's the limit. All right, everyone. If you watched the whole video, thank you. And a lot of information. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. All right, see you next time. Take care.